Hey, welcome back everyone. I'm Ishan Sharma and I'm back with another podcast episode. With me today, I have uthayakumar from the YouTube channel Curious Harish. He has his own YouTube channel and he also is working on a startup called as Look Chatbots. And he is also running one of the largest communities in India called as Clinify. And in this episode particularly, we went deep into talking about what all has changed in our lives. He's a senior at my college. So we have already done a podcast episode back in January of 2020, where we talked a lot about our aspirations, what we want to do, our views on entrepreneurship, making money and all that. And then right now in this episode, we just compared what all has happened in this complete 1 year. I hope you'll enjoy this conversation. We talked about startups, about entrepreneurship, venture capital, relationships in college. I hope you'll enjoy this one. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share this video with a friend of yours. And now let's get into this podcast episode. All right, I think we're live. Hey everyone, welcome back to another podcast episode. I'm Ishan Sharma and with me I have the one and only Harishs Jothyakumar. Hey bro, how are you doing there?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Today I have first of all, it's been really amazing to see you grow and the sort of journey that we've had in the last 1 year. So tell me a little bit about what that journey has been like for you, what all you've learned, and what is different right now for you since the time that we first did a podcast episode. So for people that don't know what I'm talking about, basically, he was the first guest on my podcast, and that was really amazing. At that time, we had a really good chat. You can take a look at that too. But the basic tagline of that I was able to take away is to create more content, keep sharing and all that. And that's what I took over. So yeah, tell me, Harish, what has that journey been like for you?
I think we did the podcast in January.
Yeah, exactly.
As I remember. Yeah. And since then, a lot of things changed, right? Like the first thing is I changed my niche. The channel's niche changed a lot. And I became a bit more mature in the way I produce content. Let's talk about the first part, right? The niche. Earlier, I used to make business content, like random tips about running a business or some new website that I found to make money. And when I think about that type of content, I was like, hey, am I credible enough to give business advice? Am I like Kunal Shah? Am I like Sachin Bansal? That I'm sharing business advice, right? Because I don't want people to get, out of the track just by listening to my advice. And for some reason, at one point, I was like self-doubting. I was thinking, hey, am I, capable enough to give business advice? Is this really something I can do forever? And that business advice was very external. It wasn't original enough, right? Because say if I read a blog or something, I just made a video out of it. And I think I got like double-digit views, and when I was lucky, I got like triple-digit views. But still, there was this inner consciousness that said, "I don't think this is right. You can maybe be a bit more original." And that's when I shifted to vlogs. I think that happened at the beginning of this.
The day on which we shot that podcast episode, that was the day that you released a day in the life video of a Bitsian. That's when your channel took off. That's when it all got started, right?
Yeah. So vlog was like a very natural format. It wasn't that I was preparing for this for the last 1-2 months. It was very spontaneous. I just picked up my camera, went for classes, filmed everything I saw on the way, and edited it and put it up as a vlog. For some reason, it got like the highest views I've ever gotten. And that's when I realized there's a lot of demand in this particular space, right? A lot of students wanting to know how colleges look like, because websites like Shiksha or websites like, say, Coda, they don't provide you the real experience. When you see a video, especially when you're holding the camera and walking, it gives you like an immersive experience of how the college looks like. And if you were to come to this college, then what's the thing you can expect? By reading a biased Coda answer, you can't sort of visualize what's going to happen. And I think that's what striked out. It was A, original, and B, it was something that had a lot of demand. People were searching for bits. People were searching for bits Goa. And third, there wasn't a lot of competition, right? This was an unexplored, untapped space. whenever you typed in BITS Goa, you'll see some stock images at max. And Dopey rarely puts out a video.
You were telling about how you used to take a look at what are the keywords that are ranking, and it was like BITS Goa fees, BITS Goa girls, and all that.
Yeah. So like earlier, I used to care about these metrics. I went to Google keywords and saw, what are people searching for, and I used that at the beginning. But later on, it was more of like an intuitive thing rather than looking at the analytics. So I started making these videos, crammed it up with keywords, and somehow it worked. Like I've never like at that time I had never seen 10,000 views right on like one single video. And I kept making these videos. Most of them were just me and my friends filming around campus, right? So now the centerpiece of this content was the BITS campus. It wasn't me. People weren't watching because Harish was there in the video. People were watching because BITS was there in the video. And I was like a supplement to sort of film it, right? So I was on the centerpiece. And that's a very vulnerable position to be in because say tomorrow I graduate from BITS, there's no content left, right? And one of my friends, Raj, I texted him and I was like, hey dude, my YouTube is going really well. And he said, that's an illusion. People are watching because you're using the word BITS Goa, and that's the word that's driving traffic.
What would you say about my own channel, what I have been doing lately? That's just a random question I just had.
In your case, it's built around the personal brand. So
yeah, exactly.
It doesn't really matter, right? That's much better because people are coming for Ishan Sharma. They aren't coming because they're using this mic or because you have books in the background. They're coming to watch you.
Yeah.
And I had this doubt, and I knew that this is not something sustainable. And unfortunately, COVID happened, because of which I came back home. And once you come back home, your centerpiece is lost. Because until now, I was banking on BITS to make content. That was my only source of inspiration. That was my only source of filming and getting content, right? So I think I made almost every single possible piece of content on BITS. Like I've covered the sports fields,
loan and all that stuff you already covered.
Yeah, it was like majority of them were covered. And at that time, there was this content deficit. And I thought, all right, what next? And that's when I thought, there are a lot of people who, like, if you see some of the most popular people on YouTube, the content is not something that's, striking. Not everyone is like Casey Neistat, right?
Yeah.
Few people have just ideas. They just express their ideas. They just share their experiences. And that in itself is gold, because I am a student. I'm a 20-year-old student. And there are millions of 20-year-olds in India. There are millions of, these Gen Z students in India. And if I'm facing a particular problem, then it's highly likely that 90% of them are going to face that. And if I can provide my opinion, right? I'm not saying that I'm going to, I'm not giving a lecture. I'm not saying this is something solidified. I'm just giving my opinion from my perspective. Then maybe that sort of relates with others, and they're able to sort of, watch my content and relate to it. And that's when I started making it more of a personal thing rather than focusing on BITS. So if you see my recent videos, I don't make it about BITS. I make it about college in general. I make it about me in general, my experiences. And that's when I realized every time I use the word MY, or my experiences, or how to make money, how I made money in college, something like that, people used to click it more often, because that's when they knew what my experience was. That's when they knew what my perspective was. So slowly I pivoted to personal stuff. So now if I don't go to BITS ever, still people would watch me because they want to hear about my opinion. They want to hear about what's the new thing I'm up to, right?
Yeah.
And that gave me access to a wide variety of content, because now I can diversify a lot. So now if you see my videos, it's very random, like why I hate Zoom classes, or maybe doing a Q&A with Shreya Patter or Kunal
Kushwaha.
Yeah, so it just helps you diversify your content a lot. And now people are coming because it's either me or a guest, or it's something that I am doing, and that's what's driving traffic. So I think that was quite a safe position to be in, and it gave me access to. It just gives you like this independence of creating whatever you want to.
Yeah. All right. I want to ask you something that is sort of like an insider question, and it's like, you have already opened up YouTube Studio. That's where we upload our videos. And instead of this place, many of you guys who are watching this video don't know, but we have this ranking of videos, which it tells you that this video that you uploaded recently is number one out of the 10 videos that you've uploaded recently. And then it's like, okay, this video is not performing as well. It's like the 10 out of the 10 video that you have uploaded recently. So that sort of doesn't make me feel good about myself. And every single time I get this high of, oh my God, I got 2000 views in just 4 hours. I want to replicate this now. Has that happened to you? And like, what do you think about this whole obsessiveness that even I have had right now with YouTube and just creating videos just to get that high again? Because I really feel that once I have gotten that amount of views, I want to get it again, because it withers away, right? It's like you do get that chart that you see, and then slowly it just so that how do you manage that situation?
Mhm. So in my case, what I've done is I've differentiated my audience, right? There are a set of people who just, they're like I wouldn't say elite, they're like the top 1% people who watch my videos for the value that I'm giving. And then there's this 99% of people who just click on the video because maybe they like the title, or because I use the word money, because I use the word freelancing. That's the reason they are clicking. And I honestly don't care about the 99%. It's totally fine if they're getting value out of it. But I just want to make sure that that 1% who's sticking with me for every single video watches it. So even if I'm making a video on a topic that's not clickbaity, and I can foresee that these videos are not going to perform well because I maybe did not use a very clickbaity title, or maybe it's not about some sensational topic, right? But I still put it out because I know that that 1% is going to benefit out of this video, right?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. So I just don't care about the numbers anymore. It's totally fine if I'm not getting crazy ad revenues, or if I'm not getting rankings, especially the comparison feature. See, you can't measure the value a person is getting.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that YouTube cannot measure that.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube can only measure views and the watch time, and measuring the amount of value using views and watch time doesn't make sense, right? So
Yeah.
I don't care about where my video ranks based on the past 10 videos. I just care about what the comments are, what's the feedback, if someone actually got impacted because of the
Exactly,
video.
but I
That's
still
the
feel
metric
that
that matters.
let's take an example of Noah, and if you compare his podcast with what I am doing right now. So what he does is that he creates these amazing podcast episodes. I enjoy watching what he has created, and he puts a lot of effort into every single episode. And what I do is that I record videos in 720p, and it's like completely blurry, and it's not the highly produced content, and it still gets seen by more eyeballs. So we are in this era right now in which it doesn't matter how amazing it looks. I don't know, like maybe that's the way I should frame it, but like, what do you think about this whole concept of the fact that your video doesn't have to be the best produced?
See, now over here, like both have its pros and cons, right? Like if I take an example of yours versus Noah's channel, maybe Noah can get an amazing opportunity from Netflix because of the
Yeah.
production quality, right? But based on the YouTube algorithm, which supports consistency, yours would definitely win because yours has maybe a better watch time and maybe a better upload rate. If someone is dealing with a niche audience, then it's great for them, like as long as you're appealing to that audience. So it just depends on you if you want to be niche, if you want to be targeted, or if you want to play with the masses. And as far as YouTube is concerned, obviously people who post often usually win.
All right. So enough of that YouTube talk. That was something that not a lot of people would relate to. Now let's talk about something that's quite interesting. What do you think about education and college in general? Do you think that we in India might approach to a point at which a 17-year-old can be like, "Meko padna nahi hai, and I won't go to a college, and I'll just use these resources available on the internet"? Is that possible? Number one, and if so, when can we? How close are we to that year or that place in time?
So, see, I'm in my third year of college, right? And as I approach college, I'm not sure. I'm in electronics, but I'm not interested in electronics.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I would say if I were to pursue electronics, then BITS would have been a great choice. Like the amount of efforts teachers put in to teach you softwares or maybe to teach concepts is phenomenal. And that's going to definitely help you if you go out there and work for AMD or NVIDIA. Amazing. But if for someone who's interested in building software, I don't think this would be the right position to be in, right? For example, if like it all depends. If it's say biotechnology, then obviously you need facilities, you need crazy funding, research facilities and all. And in that case, you'll have to go to a college. And another aspect of college is the social part of it, where you
Yeah.
can talk to your friends, build a
Mhm.
network, be with your hostel mates. So if we can somehow compensate the social part of it, and if you're pursuing something that doesn't require research facilities, like if it's not electronics or biotechnology, if it's something like computer science, then I think college can be easily skipped. But then again, there's this sort of bigotry in Indian companies, right? Especially for fresher roles. They don't have a form of validation because India is a country of masses. And this is a problem that a lot of job portals face. Whenever they
Yeah.
put out a public job posting, they get thousands of applications. And in reality, just 2 or 3 out of those 1,000 applications are actually relevant. So even if they state that these are the skills required to apply, people just apply, assuming that somehow luck is going to favor them and they'll get the job. While they don't understand that that's extra burden for the company. They have to screen 1,000 applications for no reason. So if the person applying knows that he's going to get rejected because his skill sets do not match the criteria, but still he just
Mhm.
applies. And this is the main reason why top companies prefer IIT, BITS, and NITs, right? Because they do not want to get into this huge hassle of spending hours and hours in screening applications. Instead, they can just go to these colleges, view few applications, and then just shortlist them. That's a much easier process,
Yeah.
saves time, saves money. So as far as fresher job is concerned, in like some of the top MNCs, the favoritism towards top colleges will exist, at least for the next few decades. But when it comes to tier two, tier three colleges, in that case, whatever whatever skill sets like competitive coding or your interview skills, your communication skills, that's what matters most.
And that you were talking about having that community that you have in college. That's where your community comes in, right? So tell me a little about what Clinify is, what you've done with this platform, and what are your future goals with it, to the people who are living under a rock and have not already taken a look at it.
So like I have this habit of sort of observing things that happen around me, right? I read every single comment. I try to read every single DM that I get. And somehow in the back of my mind, I try to see what the trend is, what people are expecting, and
Yeah.
what's happening in the Gen Z world. So if I'm getting a question like say 100 times, if there's a question that says how to get started with web development, if someone is asking this 100 times, like 100 different people asking this, and that's an indication that people are confused in that space. They actually want to explore it. And in this process, I learned that few common questions that people asked was A, how to build a network. B was how to acquire skills. Because when you go on the internet, it's so much clutter, you have no clue,
Yeah.
right? So these were the two main questions: how to get relevant people to hang out with, and B is how to acquire a particular skill. It could be public speaking, it could be learning how to code, something like that. And that's when I felt that India in general is a very unguided society, right? We usually follow what others are doing, or
Mhm.
it's like a cookie cutter society, right? We just listen to elders and blindly follow them. There was this entire concept of like mentoring people or guiding people and telling them how exactly they should form their career path in order to be a little bit successful was absent.
Yeah.
And this is something which was present in tier one colleges, because in places like BITS or IITs, there are so many inspirations, right? Maybe Abhinav Asthana or Harsha. There are so many idols whom we look up to and then somehow follow their journey. Or in general, even if you just look around and follow some students who are doing well, it just gives you some sort of guidance. And especially at BITS, right? People are very
Mhm.
helping. They go out of their way and just advise juniors on what they can do next. But this entire concept of guidance wasn't present in other colleges. Most of them were clueless, right? Because if half of your class is just out there doing nothing and just wasting time, that's not going to motivate you to do something better.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is like every time I made a simple video, even if I said something really simple, like make a LinkedIn account, that made a huge difference in few people's lives. Like people got jobs, people got freelancing gigs. So that's when I realized that they lack awareness, and that's something that we because we know at least a bit. It's our responsibility to bring it out and tell everyone that these opportunities exist. So that was the main purpose of the Clinify Society. It's to bring awareness. Our motto is learn, network, grow. So you learn from your peers, you network with your peers, and then eventually with this, we just create this conducive environment which just allows you to propel and grow.
And it is a community of 10,000 people.
Yeah,
And
currently
it
I
is
think.
available on Discord and Telegram, right?
Yeah, Discord, Telegram, and there's a WhatsApp
Mm-hmm.
newsletter.
All right, everyone, you can take a look at this community. I will link it in the description. So go take a look at this. It's really amazing. The people are really amazing in just helping each other out, a really healthy communication and conversations. So do take a look at that. But now, Harish, I want to talk a little bit about this. I read a lot of comments, and everyone is talking about, is asking things like, how can I get into this company? How can I get my first client? How can I, just trying to get roadmaps. People want to get roadmaps to get to their end destination. And so the problem with roadmaps is that everything is well defined. It's like you do these 450 questions in DSA, and then you can crack any big company. You do this and then you get your first client. Well, that is not the best way. Like people who actually create these amazing things, they don't have a roadmap. They just wander and they go into the road less taken. And then everyone is like, how did you reach there? Tell me, give me the complete roadmap. What do you think about this complete, like this perception that people have, that I just need a roadmap and then I will be successful? I think that this is definitely something that India has. They don't want to take risks, and we always had that mentality to seek jobs and not create jobs. But what is your perception about this?
So, I mean, so in India, since we were kids, we've been like spoon fed, right? For example, in 10th boards, I remember, a couple of my teachers said there's this thick book of 10-year past papers. Once you solve all these questions, you'll ace boards. 11th and 12th, if it's something like physics, people used to say, read H.C. Verma, solve some questions, and you'll ace physics. So at every point in time, we were given this prescription, and we were like, people were like, just, follow the schedule and you'll ace it.
Yeah.
But when you just go out there and when you realize that there are so many things to do and there are so many different roadmaps or different career paths, it's natural to get confused, right? And that's when things like experimentation, things like exploring come into place, things like curiosity come into place. And naturally, we haven't been trained to do so, and people just get baffled at that point. So I think roadmaps in a way make sense. By a roadmap, what I mean is, for example, if I want to get into the stock market, then what are the skills I should learn? Maybe it's quantitative analysis, maybe it's reading term sheets, things like this. That could be a roadmap, but it just gives you a sense of guidance, right? It's not that you can read these 24 pages and you'll become a huge stock market trader tomorrow. It's not that I've seen people sell courses on how to become an entrepreneur. And I mean, an entrepreneur by definition is someone who has not taken the risk, who has taken the risk and who has ventured out, right?
Exactly.
And if you're like just giving a book which tells you how to become an entrepreneur, that just defeats the purpose. It's not even the definition, right? It's just like eliminating the risk. So I think a small definitive guidance is great. Like if I want to get into machine learning, if I just know what concepts to learn, that's great. But that doesn't mean that, I'm given everything all at once, like a college lecture. That just kills the curiosity.
Yeah,
That
kills
doesn't
the
allow you to
excitement that you
learn
have.
beyond what's taught. Yeah, exactly.
All right, that was kind of interesting. What do you think about these EdTech startups that are booming, who want to teach coding to like kids? And let's not take their names, because they have a habit of taking down videos. So like these startups, they say that these kids can actually learn coding, and then that can change their life. What is your view on this whole field that has been growing since lockdown?
Yeah. So A is the first question is, can coding change your life? Answer is yes, it can.
Yeah.
B is, should kids learn to code? I would say yes, but not from a very young age, right? Because when you're really young, just explore as many things as you want. But when you're in like, say, 8th grade or 9th grade, at that time when you get a bit of exposure to code, it's good. Because I believe everyone should get exposure to code. It's going to become as common as speaking English, right? Speaking to a computer is only through code. And with code being involved in so many fields. It could be biology, it could be law, it could be in the financial institutions. It's just imperative that you need to learn how to code. Maybe the marketing strategy varies. The marketing strategy is something that's it's just meant to drive those emotions and buy the product. But apart from the marketing strategy, if you just look at the core concept of learning to code, I truly believe everyone should learn to code.
And what do you think
And it
about the
doesn't mean that everyone
execution
should
of
be a
what
software
they have
engineer.
done?
So I really like the execution, to be honest. I've seen the platform myself, and I asked a guy to share a screen, and I was just checking out the platform. And it's very organized. It's pretty good. The concepts that they teach are also good. I'm not sure about the quality of teachers, but
Yeah.
the platform in itself is something pretty cool. Yeah.
I feel that they have these marketing tactics saying that your kid will create this app and will get funded and all that stupid stuff, and people in India seem to say yes to that. Even I had my aunt. She knows me. She knows that I can code and know a few basic languages, and so she just called me and she was like, I'm giving you this number of this guy who from this EdTech company, and they want to talk to you because I am my cousin. She was getting her admission into this course which will teach her to code, and so I just had a talk with them, and what they were talking about was completely like out of the world. Like they were talking about your kid can literally change the world. Your kid has IQ similar to Barack Obama,
So
and all
here's
of
the thing,
these.
right?
Yeah.
I think the reason why that happened was Indians in general not spend, right? We are very hesitant to spend. Like if I suggest a Udemy course today, if I be like, hey, I like Andrew Mead's Udemy course, 99% of the people would go to Google and type in Andrew Mead crack course, how to get Andrew Mead's course for
Exactly.
free.
Yeah.
That's going to be the top search result in India, right? No one likes to pay to get value. There are so many Telegram channels which give out Netflix shows for free, which give out Udemy courses for free. And even people from affluent families, that mentality itself is to not pay for things and
Where do
to
you think
just
that
get
mentality has
stuff for
come
free.
from? Because that's
And
not available in Western countries, right?
I think that mentality came because the per capita income of India is pretty less. And as a society, we've been trained to save a lot of money, keep it in fixed deposit, not spend it in the stock market because that's too risky, not spend it in mutual funds because that's too risky, just keep it in fixed deposit. And plus, given the fact that the per capita income is less, people just tend to spend on roti, kapda, makan, right? That's the three things that they care about the most. And while in other countries they're more liberal about it, like mostly Americans just spend their last bit of salary on weekends, maybe
Yeah.
they go to a theme park or just, and like when you spend on such things, it just keeps the economy running in a way. And like both have its pros and cons. Like Indians have better savings compared to Americans tend to spend more and later go in debt. But at the same time, Indians save too much, and there are certain aspects in life where you're supposed to spend. For example, if today I say a Udemy course costs $300, a person would not spend $300 over there, but he'll pay 2 lakhs in some random college and
Yeah.
be like, hey, I'm getting more knowledge from there.
Definitely,
So,
that's what like we have all of these. We do a lot of webinars. Like Codam
uh,
does a lot of webinars with
mhm.
these college students, and we try to tell them that this is a web developer like learning path, and you can just learn this, and after that you might actually get a freelance gig, which would be completely more than what you've spent over here. It would be completely you can redeem that much money just by doing one client project. And even then, no one really pays heed to that. I don't know what's happening over here.
Exactly. So I think that mentality needs to change. People should at least see, I'm not supporting White Hat Junior or something,
Yeah.
but all I'm saying is spend on things that actually give you value, spend on things which help you self-learn, because as most companies say, even some of the top companies, they innovate every single day, and to innovate every single day you should just keep learning. And if learning comes at a small cost, I'm not talking about spending exorbitant amount of money, like not lakhs and lakhs, but if it's just a couple of thousand rupees, then I think that'll be a good decision,
Yeah.
because that way it just keeps your brain running and you can keep learning.
There's this saying that Americans earn to live, and we Indians, we live to earn. Like we struggle a lot just to make ends meet, and they just earn as much money as possible so that they
And
can live
I
off
think there's
properly.
another reason involved over there. We don't I think Kunal Shah spoke about this today,
Yeah,
right? We don't
yeah.
trust people easily. We just think that, oh, this guy's going to cheat me. The moment you receive a cold call from ICICI Bank, you're like, oh no, I'm going to cut this call. Without even if they like, hello, I'm from ICICI, you just cut the call because you think, oh, this guy's going to try, this guy's going to sell me something.
Oh, definitely.
And yeah, so I think that needs to change. We need to sort of take a macroscopic view, understand what reality is, and then move forward, right? For example, Zerodha, right? When Zerodha first came in, people were so skeptical. Like, why would anyone give money to Zerodha, though it was a new player and it had like 0% brokerage? But then eventually people got used to it. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that it'll take time.
Talking about startups, what do you think about venture capital and does the state that venture capital is in right now? Because I see that a lot of these VCs, they only put money into startups that seem really, really promising, and there's very less chance of them to take much risks. It's like they ask, like I sit in a lot of pitching wherein Kodam is pitching to a lot of other investors, and they're like, show me your numbers, show me how much MOM can you grow, show me what is your TAM, what is your SAM, and like, show me all of these numbers and how big can you actually become. Can you become like $100 million company? And if you cannot, then don't even talk to me, go away. So that's literally what one of the investors told us. And after that, we, like me and Mehul, were like, what the heck is this person talking? How is that even possible? Like, we just took like a Excel sheet and we started graphing that right now, if today's value of the business is this much, and in 10 years we need to get it to $100 million, then how much do we need to grow every single year? And it was just some insane numbers that we had to just make up. What do you think about this whole concept of venture capital not trying to risk their money?
So, see, it's not about risking money. It's more about what venture capitalism is in general, right? See, when you want money, you can go to a bank and take loan. And you just pay like, I think 7% interest. That's how traditional businesses have been functioning, right? But then there's one issue when it comes to taking loan. A is that you need to give a collateral. Maybe it could be like your house or something.
Unless you're like Nirav Modi.
Yeah, just give some other guy's house. And B is that this is an advantage, to be honest. You just need to return that amount plus like a percentage of the interest, which is, say, let's assume it's 12%, right? So if I borrow 1 lakh from the bank, all I need to return the bank is how much? 1,10,000, right? That's the total amount I got to return them.
Yeah.
Now comes the part of venture capitalism. Now you might be like, why don't people just take loans then if that's the case? As I said, you need a collateral, and not everyone has a credit score to take a loan of say 1 crore, right? And that's why venture capitalists came in and they were like, all right, I'll give you 1 crore. I won't take any collateral. I won't take anything in return. All I want is, say, an equity in your company. And then when you raise your next round, I want like 100x return. And words like 100x return, 1000x return, 200x return, this is all very common in the space of venture capitalism because that's the type of return they're looking at. When Sequoia invested in Apple, that's the return they got. When Sequoia invested in, say, Google, that's the return they got. And that's how the entire space of venture capitalism works, right? So, and now the thing is, you might have heard, right, 99% of the startups fail. And what that means is 99% of the venture capitalists also fail because they trusted the company. So it's a very blind bet. And when you're putting a blind bet, certain factors like markets, like TAM, SAM, all of these vanity metrics and these market metrics come into play, right? Because if he's not even he's just doing a blind bet, he's not taking a collateral, he has no liability towards you. If your company fails, even his money goes in the drain. He's not going to sell your house and take it back, right? So it's a very blind bet. And in these cases, this is often said, right? Whenever you cold email a VC, it means that it's not the right time to raise funds. A VC should approach you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Kunal Shah was talking about in today's
exactly. Yeah. That's how it's ideally supposed to happen. And because when you are searching for funds, it means that you haven't grown enough to be recognized in the ecosystem. So I think that's how you should focus, because when you're growing month on month, if you're doing, say, like 100% month on month growth, then that's enough to sort of attract some investor attention. And trust me, these investment professionals are the biggest stalkers in India. They know every single LinkedIn profile. Even if you like randomly pull off a startup today, somehow they come to know about it. So yeah, they just keep running these algorithms and they keep scraping the web for startups. So don't worry. When you are growing at a fast pace, investors would approach you automatically. Like, yeah.
Let's talk
And
about
as I
this.
said, the reason is because they also want a higher return,
Yeah.
like 100x or 200x return, and that's the reason they look at so many factors before investing.
But what the problem that I have been seeing, and that's just my own personal opinion, is that a lot of the startups that are getting funded, they don't solve like that big of an issue. If you take a look at from the macro perspective around the world, there are many other
Example.
really important. Huh?
Example.
I'm giving you the examples like things like global warming, things like pollution. These are big important problems, and there are not enough startups. There are not enough VCs to fund these things because they just think that it's just not going to be possible, and it's kind of a risky thing. So all they are used to fund startups are the ones who solve things like consumer internet businesses, the traditional businesses, and I feel that that's the problem right here.
I think that makes sense because, like, to be honest, humans are selfish,
Yeah.
right? So they will only invest in startups that give them money back. Like if someone invests in a startup that's solving for global warming, and if that doesn't have like a materialistic return, then people won't spend, right? No private equity company is going to pour in money over there. So I think things like global warming come under like corporate social responsibility or philanthropism, and yeah, so that's the major reason they don't invest. But things like people as big as the governments, it's more of their responsibility because they have enough capital to invest in these places and actually make a change, especially in these European countries, right? There are so many huge corporations which allocate some sort of their CSR towards these activities. And plus, the government is also quite proactive over there.
What are your future plans right now? When the lockdown opens up, and hopefully it opens up before the next semester starts. Do you want to go to college? Do you want to go to the hostel? And what will you be doing afterwards? Like, what are your plans right now?
To be honest, I'm more focused when I'm at home.
Yeah, exactly. Me
Because
too. And everyone is rooting to go back to hostel. I don't know why.
I mean, hostel, both have its pros and cons. Hostel is
Yeah.
fun, you have your friends around,
But then you
but
have
it's
too much
hard to
distraction.
focus. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just fine with either.
Okay, and then what are your plans right now with your YouTube channel with Clinify, and what do you want to do next?
Like, I honestly don't know. So I'll just,
This is the
keep doing
exact
whatever
same
I'm
answer you
doing.
gave me back in January. When
Yeah.
I asked you
Like,
what are your
even if you
future
ask
plans
me
with the
like
YouTube
10
channel and all.
years, even if you ask me like 10 years from now, it'll be the same answer because
Yeah.
I don't really plan things. Like, even when I have to start a day, it's usually in the morning that I plan what to do next. Even if I have a test, I usually plan it out in the morning. So yeah, let's just see. Let's go with the flow.
All right. Back in January, you were talking about monetizing your audience by trying to approach these coaching institutes to sponsor you for your channel, and now you've done something on yourself by creating bits at bit by bit. And yeah, I mean, it's been really amazing to watch you grow, bro.
So I've stopped taking sponsorships
Yeah.
recently because I don't know why. It just feels as if I'm diluting my personal brand by taking sponsors. Because at the beginning of the video, I need to be like, "Hey, this video was sponsored by
But
XYZ,"
isn't that what
and
everyone does?
yeah, everyone does it, but it just doesn't feel authentic to me. At least in my case, right? Like, there are so many people who earn a living through YouTube and through sponsorships. Nothing against them,
Yeah.
but I just feel that I just feel as if I'm faking it and not really caring about the product.
Definitely. Like
So
even
yeah.
people like Aman Dhattarwal and all, who are the top of this industry of education field in YouTube, even they don't want to take in sponsorships. I think that ye pura like India ke jo bacche hain, like this generation has this kind of a, imagination or this mentality that whoever takes a sponsorship is not good. Whenever someone is making money outside of doing like a normal job, they are not doing something good, and we shouldn't trust them. I don't know why it is like this.
that's
Like,
that's
yeah.
that's not good, to be honest, right?
Hmm.
Because we should uh, like, even in Kunal Shah's talk, he said, right, people will be the first to blame when someone fails. They'll like enjoy when someone fails.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, kind of strange.
People write on in
And they
the
don't
comments,
like,
it's like a big guy yeto and he's sold now and something like that.
yeah, people don't like when others are trying to sort of make money, or we just, as a society, we're so much against money. People don't show off. Like people advise that, hey, don't buy an expensive car. Maybe your neighbor would say something. So it's all just embedded in a society, and it'll take quite a while to get over it.
I get a lot of these questions asked by people. They're like, how to become an entrepreneur? And I just ask them, why do you want to become an entrepreneur? And they're like, I don't know. It seems something like a cool thing. While it is so hard from what I have seen, seeing you and seeing Mehul grow as a person, it's really hard, the work that you have to do. And, I don't know why people want to do entrepreneurship. Sure, they do see the returns, but what do you think about this whole concept of people wanting to become, entrepreneurs and all, what
So
it's called?
yeah, so recently I had a WhatsApp message from some guy who said, if I become a co-founder, will it help me in internships? I was like, wait, what? What do you mean? And then, yeah, I don't know. People just think that, like, we're just so used to this J mentality that we just try to make everything like J, right? As if you prepare and then you sort of get a rank. Same happened with coding also, like recently. And then I think now people are trying to do that with entrepreneurship. Couple of days back, I won't name the company, they called me up and they were like, hello sir, we are teaching entrepreneurship, would you like to enroll in our course?
How is that even possible?
Teach, right? And that's
I mean, there are
quite
books.
strange.
There are books that are really good, like 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. That's a really good book that can give you stories of people that have built businesses. But at the end, it's all about how you execute it, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's not entrepreneurship, right? That's
Yeah.
more of like sharing experiences, sharing their perspective of how the startup world functions. Like, you can't really teach entrepreneurship because ultimately it's just solving a problem.
Yeah.
And entrepreneurship could be as simple as someone in college working on a project. Like, for example, if Kratos, tomorrow, if SpaceX funds Kratos, that could become like a venture. So it's just solving a problem consistently, and if you're really passionate about that problem, you just sort of scale it up. So I don't think if that could be actually taught, right? Solving a problem cannot be like taught. It's a very generic term.
Yeah.
And everyone has different problems, everyone has different aspects and approaches to sort of tackle it.
And what do you think about this craze of wanapreneurs, people wanting to become an entrepreneur without having a real idea? What do you think about that?
So see, even I've been in that phase, right? Earlier, I used to sort of introduce myself saying, hey, I'm Harish, I'm the founder of blah, blah, blah. And recently I just realized that it doesn't hold much weight and I shouldn't be doing things which just make me seem cool. So I don't know, I just try to like the entire perception of, the glamorizing of entrepreneurship, the glamorizing of, selling a company or raising funds has gone away because like the more you study, the more you watch sort of Y Combinator videos, or more you read something like Paul Graham's essays, that's when you realize that it's not that simple and there's a lot to it. It's not as simple as Dan Lok or Tai Lopez showing off their cars and houses. And I used to be that kind of guy who used to watch these videos, but then as you sort of learn how the ecosystem is, that's when you realize that, hey, that's not how it works. So yeah, I just try to keep it subtle and not glamorize it too much because it's not going to work anyway, right? Let your actions speak rather than, you posing in front of some car and then putting a picture on Instagram. It's stupid.
Yeah, exactly. So
I've seen this thing on Instagram where people just stand in front of random cars, they take a picture and
especially
put a hashtag
women,
that says,
suspiciously.
I don't know about that. Just put a hashtag that says hashtag startups, hashtag
Exactly. Like
entrepreneur.
I follow hashtag
And then
entrepreneur.
when I click on their profile, it says digital marketer, I'll 100x your leads, some blah, blah, blah.
No. I got to see this person today, and it was like hashtag entrepreneur, and Instagram suggested me that profile. I clicked on the profile, and that entrepreneur was actually a network marketer. MLM is going on, and they call it that as entrepreneurship.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's just fine. Don't really tag yourself as an entrepreneur. Just keep working on whatever you're doing. It's totally fine. No one really cares, man. Everyone has their life to sort. I know whom we are trying to prove ourselves to. So just keep going, just keep doing whatever you're doing, and let your actions speak, right? Don't do heavy PR and start glamorizing unnecessary things.
Do you like the hustle of creating businesses? Like you've created bits at Bit by Bit and Clinify, and you've also worked upon ULock. So like, what's the best part that you like about this, and what's the worst part about it that you enjoy?
The best part is that it keeps me engaged. So as you say, right, an empty mind is a devil's workshop. And when I'm engaged, it helps me accelerate my learning process. Like especially for ULock, when we were building the dashboard, I learned Node.js in a month, and I couldn't have done that if I wasn't building it, right? And so it's like, necessity is the mother of invention, blah blah blah. I
Yeah.
think necessity just helps you accelerate whatever you're doing. And even in case of Clinify, I didn't know how to use Discord, but now we handle a community of 6,000 students on Discord. So it just helps you accelerate things. And it's so fun because you're doing something that you're really passionate about. It's something like at Clinify, every single day I get to meet so many people from across the world and talk to them, which in itself just broadens my horizons and teaches me so many new things. The English sessions that happen every day on Clinify, every day I get to listen like 50 other perspectives, and we are so narrow-minded, right? Like we don't get to listen to a lot of perspectives. Like I don't know what's the perspective of a person coming from a really remote village in Bihar. I don't know what's the perspective of an Irish guy sitting somewhere in Europe, right? So it just teaches you a lot about how the world works, how people think, and then observe trends. So that's something that I really enjoy. Like even during lectures, I spend most of my time on Discord. So if that's the amount of dedication you have, then that's pretty cool. It does, like, I just keep coming up with these random ideas while sleeping. So at like 3 a.m., I'll just wake up, open up my notes app, and sort of type it out. And yeah, that's something that I enjoy. It just keeps me going.
Who are the top people that you like to follow and you have learned a lot from them?
A is Kunal Shah. It's not that I'm like a worshipper of Kunal Shah, but
Yeah.
I like the fact that he just sort of spits facts,
Yeah,
things that
exactly. Like he did his philosophy in BA in philosophy, and after that he dropped off. And I was like yesterday, I was listening to his podcast episode with Cyrus,
Mhm.
and then I was listening a bunch of other conversations that he's been on, and he seems like to be really interesting, and he has really great insights.
Mhm. Like more than, I mean, see, not 100% of it could be true, right? Maybe something might be just his opinion, but the way he enforces facts, the way he sells his vision is something phenomenal, right? And that's something I can learn from him. Then Nitin Kamath for sure, the way he bootstraps Zerodha.
Yeah,
And finally, I would say there's this guy called Gary Tan
I know
on
about him.
YouTube.
Yeah,
He's
he used to be like
he's
a
a
Y
partner in
Combinator
Initial.
partner, right?
Yeah, now he's at Initialized Capital, and yeah. So these are the guys who actually understand how the world works. They have a much broader perspective compared to people like you and me, right? And that in a way helps us too. And given the fact that they put out so much online content, helps people like you and me.
Well, Kunal Shah's tweets have been really amazing to just take a look at them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What are the top books that you would recommend to people who want to get into business and who want to learn about how organizations work? What would those be?
So my number one book recommendation would be Swipe to Unlock.
Okay.
It's an amazing book that tells about all major technologies, right? And especially today, I'm surprised when people in some corporate world are like, "Hey, is there something called Google Sheets? How do I use that?" Like a lot of people still pay for Excel, and like a lot of people aren't aware of the tools available at their right beside them. So I think Swipe to Unlock is a great way of knowing how the entire technology ecosystem works. It's like a summary of technology in a couple of pages. So I think everyone needs to know a bit of tech, and that's a great way of getting started. The second book would be Sapiens, and
Okay. By Yuval Noah
major
Harari.
reason why I like yeah the major reason is because like it's such an amazing journey, right? We just don't celebrate the fact that we're so smart. We just don't think that we're like the smartest species on planet Earth, and we just don't rejoice that fact. And reading that book really made me realize that then in the last 40 years, the amount we have progressed is just insane.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that just helps me sort of like life in general, and also understand human psychology and the way humans have been progressing, some instincts and stuff like that. So yeah, these would be top two recommendations.
You don't seem to read a lot of books. Do you read, like, what books do you read?
So I don't really complete books, right? Wait,
Okay.
I have my Kindle right there. I have
Yeah.
like 30 books, and all of them are like half read. I don't
It's
really
exactly like
complete
your
books.
Udemy account. You have
So
so
yeah,
many of these
I mean there are
accounts,
a bunch of books.
courses over there.
Yeah, I mean there are a bunch of books, like all these generic startup books like 0 to 1, this lean startup. Um, yeah, and then there's this book by uh, the Helion Ventures guy. I forgot its name. Yeah, so it's about venture capitalism in general. I'll link it up later. So yeah, there are these bunch of books. When you go to like your Amazon, if you click on a book like 0 to 1, you'll get like a bunch of recommendations, and
Yeah.
these are like the general books that you should be reading. So I think just go to Amazon recommendations, you'll get good readings, good suggestions.
All right, let's just close this conversation with one last question. This is going to be something personal, and I want to ask you, and that is, what is your opinion on relationships while in this stage of life, when you're in college or when you're very early on? Because I think that a lot of the teenagers or people who are getting into college have this weird perception of what it's going to be like, from movies or from what they've seen online. What do you think about this notion? Because like, you remember when we finished this episode last time in January, we were going back to our hostels, and I just asked you, bro, are you looking out for a girl? And you were like, yeah, bro, I'm looking out for one.
Okay, unfortunately, that still hasn't happened.
Yeah.
But this is my view on relationship. It's totally fine to be in a relationship if that's the way you're getting your emotional support. If
Yeah.
you need someone by your side, and if you share common interests, then it's a good thing to be in a relationship. Like, that's so natural, right? That's how humans are. That's how humans live. In college, yes, like, doesn't matter if it's college, right? It's totally fine if you have a relationship. In my case, like, the reason I'm not actively, out there
Yeah.
in the dating scene or something, is because I don't know. I
Number
just
one, you
feel that
don't
I
have
can't
much
dedicate.
time, right? Like, do you have time to, yeah, like, chat with
Exactly.
girl or people like, hey, how you doing? How was your dinner like, and all that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's the right way of doing it, but still,
I'm new to this. I don't know. I've had some pretty
yeah.
bad
So
experiences.
I don't know. I just don't get time to just get involved. Like, I have a lot of friends, but I don't have a significant other as of now.
Exactly, bro. Like, even I have had like a really bad time in 2020. I have not been able to even like talk to my own friends. I don't know. I just don't have the time. I just enjoy doing what I do, and that's pretty much it. And people sometimes ask me these questions, and I'm like, I don't even have the time. What are you talking about?
Mm. I don't know. Maybe let's see. Yeah.
But like, do you think should people actually like go for relationships when they don't even
Personal
have,
choice.
huh?
Personal choice, man.
Yeah,
See,
but
relationship is not
if
a burden, right? It's not that, oh, I have a girlfriend, that's that, and now I'm gonna go in debt.
yeah,
Like, that doesn't happen.
if that
You
happens,
can,
then you should definitely probably not be in that relationship, I would say.
yeah. So if it's sort of amplifying your growth, or if it's just sort of supporting you, and it's not degrading you in life, then I think it's a good choice.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It was a long conversation. What would be the one thing that you would tell to people who are still watching for like around, I don't know, 50 minutes or something? What would be your message to them?
Just keep experimenting, just keep doing anything and everything that comes to your mind. Do not think about what the society is going to tell you. In At least in my case, half of the people do not know that you can earn through YouTube or things like that. So
Yeah.
just keep experimenting and doing whatever you think is feasible.
All right, bro. Thank you so much for joining. I hope the people would be able to get some value out of this. Guys, if you have any other question, you can reach out to Harish on his Instagram. I will link it in the description. Or if you have any more questions, you can also just drop a comment and I will be sure to answer those. Thank you so much for joining. And thank you so much, Harish.
Yeah, and sorry for being cheerless. I'm a bit sick. So
Yeah,
next
yeah.
time
No
I'll
problem, bro.
be cheerful.
So yeah, that was the episode. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. If you enjoyed, if you have any questions for him, you can take a look at his YouTube channel, his Instagram handle in the description. And also, if you're still watching this video and you have watched it entirely from the beginning to the end right now, thank you so much. You are the people who really motivate me to keep creating these podcast episodes, these informative videos. So you guys are the real power that is driving my motivation, and thank you so much for being here with me in this journey. So yeah, thank you so much. And if you have been watching this video till the very end, if you enjoyed, make sure that you also follow me on Instagram. I post there pretty much daily. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.